Got it. Greetings, geeks and nerds. I'm Leeds Universe and I'm White and Nerdy, and it's been a while since we talked about the DC's Legends of Tomorrow. The last time that I talked about them was way back in January. And I think it's about due time that we go back and talk about the Legends once again, and this time we're going to talk about the Legend 2 of DC's Legends of Tomorrow, and just to let people know, because I'm not going to do it here, if you are interested in checking out that review and seeing where everything basically had popped into place and how basically the show works, then you should go and watch that review right now. All you have to do is just either look it up or go to my channel and find it. It isn't that difficult to find. But I'm not going to basically recap an entire season 1 before doing season 2. That's not the way how we do things here. But I am going to break down and discuss and talk about the incidents that happened in Season 2. Because unlike Season 1, which is where the series was trying to mostly find its footings and how to handle these characters, Season 2 is a lot more of a character-driven type of series, which focuses on different characters becoming more of the limelight and really trying to focus down on why this team is basically known as Legends. So let's get into Wave Rider, go back in time, and hit that time warp again. Yes, I made a Rocky Horror Picture Show reference, screw you. And let's talk about DC's Legends of Tomorrow season. After the events of the original series of Season 1, we end up meeting Citizen Steel, who wants to find out what happened to the Legions after Season 1. As according to Dr. Nathaniel Haywood, that the team didn't just disappear, they ended up disappearing into history, and he wants to find out where exactly and what exactly happened to them. As after the team is reassembled and re-put together in order to save the world, they will have to realize that there's a threat that's bigger than them all. As this new team will have to face off against their own mismatched own Legion of Doom that they have come to create in this series for only after one prize. As the series will mostly have to rely upon the Spear of Destiny, an ancient spear that can not only rewrite history, but rewrite timeline and time itself. As it is up to this brave team of legends to come together and finally take down the evil forces of the Legion of Doom before all of history is rewritten, and before all of history becomes as corrupt as they come to know it to be, and before the legends by accident destroy the entire timeline. With the ultimate and unfortunate possibility that these superheroes might just break time in order to happen to fix it all over again and repair it. Unlike Season 1, which has basically the entire plot and premise mostly be that the rag band team of superheroes and supervillains teaming up to basically save time. Here, it is more, like I said, of a character study and character-driven, with that mostly we are focusing on the cast this time around and trying to have them build up the team as being more of a team of legend, more than what that they were a team of mischief or zeros in the original Season 1. There is not much of a change in the cast of Season 2, with only a few people being added onto the team that are brand new, such as Vixen and Citizen Steel. However, though, they do have the Legion of Doom, which we will talk about basically later. But the change in cast was actually pretty brilliant, putting alongside of a new team to basically become legends themselves. And yes, I am basically the impatient person to know exactly when John Constantine joins the team. I mean, with the Spear of Destiny, John should have joined the team almost either immediately by this point, but I'm still rushing things. So let's talk about the newcomers into the team, a couple of guest stars, and a few weird episodes that this series has done to go show with, and then talk about the obscure Legion of Doom that this series has put together, shall we? First up is Dr. Nate Haywood, aka Citizen Steel, a very obscure decision choice upon putting in this series, but still a great discovery. As it doesn't become too soon, Dr. Haywood basically takes over as being the heart and team of the team and the main center focus of Season 2. As being on a band of mischiefs and on the team underrated superheroes that Dr. Hayward would really become more of a centerpiece and focus, as he also would get most of the better episodes and most of the character study for the character of Dr. Hayward, and that's not a bad thing, that is a compliment. As Dr. Hayward not only is a perfect example of to be on a team of mischief, but that he also proves his weight and pulls his weight around being more than just being on the team, as he wants to live up to the expectations of his grandfather and really prove to the world that he can be a great superhero, and he becomes just that upon the Legends. And speaking of Legend, not only do they team up with the legendary Legion of Superheroes, because it happens, they also team up with one of the Justice Society members of themselves, as this team manages to team up with the legendary and the original Vixen, who ends up becoming a very good part and member of the team. As while Vixen is mostly like Captain America from the Marvel Universe, and that she is a woman at her own time, she still manages to be a damn good and impressive character. As Vixen is a lot more than just a woman who has animalistic powers. She ends up becoming a protector of her country, as well as a protector of the timeline and the entire damn world. As while she might be an original member of the Justice Society of America, she still proves her own weight and pulls her own weight and showing the team exactly what she can do. As even yes, that I can agree that these are some very weird characters to have on the show. Just remember that the show had basically hand-plucked quite a variety in the very first season, and some that are mostly still kicking around, and that the show, as far as I know, gets even weirder with the choices that they make in replacing this cast of characters. So it's almost like the Avengers or the X-Men, where anyone and anyone can be a member of this damn impressive team. But let's talk about some of the episodes, the weird ones, some of the impressive guest stars that they have, before we end off this episode talking about the very obscure Legion of Doom that this series had put together, as I kind of wish that they would have picked a little bit more of an impressive one. While I love the Legion of Doom and the Injustice Society and everything like that, they really could have picked quite more memorable villains to be in the lineup of the Legion of Doom. But let's take a look at just some of the weirder episodes and more obscure episodes, some of the guest stars that the series had. Before we close up, we're talking about one of my all-time favorite villain group in the entire world, and how this series kind of butchered that impressive group. As this series did have some pretty damn impressive episodes, and including some that are very, very weird, but including some amazing guest stars upon this episode. Quite an amazing guest star to have on this series, for example, is the immortal Sal Buscemanos, who only showed up in the 3rd episode of Season 2. Yes.
I built him the strongest and most formidable armor in all of Japan. Forged him a sword fit.
Or how about having the immortal Lance Henriksen appear as the Justice Society member Obsidian? Oh, hell yeah.
Todd? Why did you abandon us?
But there are some very weird but awesome episodes in this, like in the 2nd episode, they teamed up with the immortal Justice Society of America. Not weird enough for you? Okay, let's go weirder. How about when the Legends have to defend George Lucas to still become a filmmaker, so he can go on to make the famous films that would inspire Nate and also the Atom to become superheroes? Yes, I'm serious. Or what about the astonishing crossover episode that went into a lot of CW series that had the entire superhero world teaming up together? And in case you're wondering if that happened, yep, this episode actually happened, and all the superheroes in the CW universe teamed up together. How about an episode that had to do with the Civil War? Except on top of the Civil War, there's also a zombie invasion that ends up happening during the Civil War era. You asked for weird, and I don't think you can get much weirder than the Civil War era being invaded by fucking zombies.